I'm here talking with Dr. Brad Bowins, psychiatrist in Toronto, Ontario, about his new fiction novel, Inevitable Conclusion. Dr. Bowins, what's the theme of this new book?
The theme is really about environmental and related social injustice. We are really running the environment down. We're deforesting at a rate that's incredible. In the last 50 years, we pretty much deforested the planet. Wildlife is disappearing, and this, the Anthropocene, mentioned for the human role in the destruction of wildlife. And this is not sustainable. And this book is really detailing this whole issue and what needs to be done about it.
The title, Inevitable Conclusion, is intriguing. Can you explain it?
It is an inevitable conclusion that for nature to proliferate instead of disappear, we really have to change our ways regarding the environment or disappear from the planet. That is a conclusion that a group determined to deal with this comes to in the book.
I see that in the story you've taken the perspective of two characters. Can you explain why you took this approach?
That was designed to show the issue from two different vantage points. Scott Taylor is a young environmentalist working for the Wildlife Protection Agency based in the Caribbean, where the story is set. And he tends to be younger, a little more optimistic, maybe a bit more reasonable perspective. And Eric Lemon is a scientist who has struggled for years to deal with some of the environmental issues. He's part of a group, S.A.F.E, an acronym for Safety Alliance for Ecosystems. And a subgroup with him forms to try to do everything that they can to reverse the decline. But they're frustrated because the best they can do is marginally slower. So they come up with a different approach to this. There is another perspective presented, but that's a bit of a twist in the story.
There are many books and movies with apocalyptic themes. So why do you think we need another?
Yes, you're right that there are a lot of books and movies with apocalyptic themes. What makes this one different is it's got a very hopeful aspect. I believe in giving solutions, not just presenting problems. And in the book, there's a manifesto for environmental and social justice, which really lists what the major problems are and what we have to do to reverse them.
The cover image for the book is quite striking. Can you explain why you chose this particular cover?
The idea with the book is that we seem to think that we can live independently of nature, but everything is interdependent. We cannot. So with the book cover in the front, there's this barren, desolate area. Nature's gone. In the background here, there's a city symbolic of people, but it looks barren, empty too. So that symbolizes how, despite what we think, we really do rely on nature. And the ominous sky over top symbolizes the risk in thinking we can live independent of it.
What is unique about this book?
Two things mainly. The first, the lighter one, well, not necessarily first, you could take first or second, is that it's set in the Caribbean. I've read many fiction books over the years, and not that many are really set completely in the Caribbean, which is a shame because it's such a beautiful area, and particularly for a book about nature. And this book covers some of the most beautiful areas, like St. Vincent, Saba, which is the tip of an undersea volcano, a very unique place, and Dominica, which is probably the most scenic island in the Caribbean. And it has sites like the Valley of Desolation leading to the Boiling Lake, incredible volcanic sites, the second largest boiling lake in the world. So it's based in the Caribbean and in very natural, quite pristine parts of the Caribbean. The second reason is that it really includes a very solid nonfiction component. I've researched a lot of the environmental themes over the years, and the portrayal of them is accurate in the book. And things are laid out describing how we are damaging the environment, and in a fashion that's entertaining, because it's hard for a lot of people to read pure nonfiction about environmental destruction.
Dr. Bowins, what are you looking for readers to learn from this book?
I think that the key take-home point is this. We have real problems with the environment, but this isn't like a meteor 1,000 kilometers long streaking towards the Earth on a direct intercept course where there's nothing we can do about it. This is vastly different. There are many things that we can do about it, very effective. We just choose not to. And we're testing a theory that we can live independent of nature, and I don't think that's going to work out too well. And the Manifesto for Environmental and Social Justice lays out the points, what we can do. They're all very manageable. It's just going to take time, and it's going to take a concerted effort, and yes, there will be costs, but if you factor in the cost of the environment, that will come out way in favor of doing these things.
In the context of the world we live in today with COVID-19, how does this book, Inevitable Conclusion, help me prepare for the new normal that we will now ensue?
The pandemic that we're experiencing now might seemingly be different from what's covered in this book, but it's actually extremely relevant, and the book is very timely from the perspective of the pandemic. The more we destroy forests, the more we bring people into contact with wildlife, and the more likely it is that so-called transinfections from one species to another occur. If we continue to degrade the forest environment, we will have more of them. That is just a reality, and unfortunately, they could be a lot worse than this one. And that's a negative message, but it's a very important one because we can reverse this stuff. There's things we can do, like halt illegal logging, make sure things are certified sustainable forest products, for example, plant high-yield forests, like they're trees that grow rapidly and can be cut down and replaced. We could replant many trees and get forests to grow. We can stop cutting down rainforest areas for palm oil plantations, or do it in a very sustainable way, possibly, or cutting down Amazon forests for cattle ranching. We can do all these things, and the more we can get forests intact, the more of a buffer there is between humans and these wild animals, less risk of these pandemics.